Can't say I'm surprised, but this is reportedly the end of the road for Charlie Strong at the University of Miami.
You are Locked On Canes, your daily podcast on the Miami Hurricanes, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
I am Alex Donno, your host. I'm a University of Miami alumnus, longtime South Florida sports radio vet, and contributor to allhurricanes.com. And thank you so much for making Locked On Canes your first listen and your first watch. We're free wherever you get your podcasts and free on YouTube. Today's episode is brought to you by FanDuel Sportsbook, the official sportsbook of Locked On. Make every moment more. Visit FanDuel.com/Locked On to get started. This is an extra episode in addition to our main episode of the day because I see this Charlie Strong report. Got to talk about it. Gaby Urrutia from Inside the U reports from his sources that Charlie Strong, Miami's linebackers coach, is not expected to return to the U in 2023. Now, it's amazing how the narrative has changed here within a couple of days, right? Because before Miami went out and hired Lance Guidry, former very successful defensive coordinator at Marshall, who had actually less than a month ago been named defensive coordinator at Tulane, but Miami swooped in, poached Guidry. Mario Cristobal really likes him. So before that all happened a couple days ago, I felt like Charlie Strong might be the front runner to get promoted from linebackers coach to defensive coordinator and defensive play caller. He gets passed over. Well, not really passed over because I guess that would be promoting somebody else from within, but they go outside the program. Strong did not receive this promotion. That told me the writing is probably on the wall here, because if Strong did want the opportunity to be the defensive coordinator at Miami, a job he's done very successfully in previous stops, including 2 national championships at Florida when he was the defensive coordinator there, has been a head coach at multiple stops, successful at Louisville, not as successful at Texas and USF, but he's got a great resume. So for Charlie Strong not to be named Miami's defensive coordinator, you had the feeling he would probably be moving on. Now, I can look at this as both a potential good thing and a potential bad thing. On the good side of it, Miami goes out and hires Lance Guidry, and you like it when your coordinators have an opportunity to collaborate on hiring their assistants and working with people they're comfortable with and people whose styles of coaching fit the style of defense that they want to run. So you would imagine, and this was part of Gaby Urrutia's report, that Cristobal and Guidry will have their first opportunity to collaborate on a hire as the program searches for its next linebackers coach. That was part of Gaby's write-up, and it makes a lot of sense that, this gives Mario and Lance Guidry an opportunity to interview linebacker coaches together. Could it end up being someone that Guidry has worked with before at Marshall or Western Kentucky or someone else? That is yet to be seen, but I do like the fact, and hopefully the offensive coordinator gets some of these same opportunities, right? That if you hire an offensive coordinator, whenever that day comes, if the OC is not the wide receivers coach, he can look for a wide receivers coach with Mario. If he's not the quarterbacks coach, he can look for a quarterbacks coach with Mario. So I like this for Lance Guidry, that he's got an opportunity to collaborate on the hire. What I don't like about losing Charlie Strong is, not saying this can't be replaced. He's a very good teacher. When it comes to molding linebackers, I certainly think he helped Wes Besaint in his development last year. I also think he helped Corey Flagg become, even better at what he was doing last season. That's one thing. Now, maybe the next linebackers coach can also be an awesome teacher. Another thing, though, is Charlie Strong. He was so instrumental in Miami's linebacker recruitment, right? Being able to get guys here like Malik Bryant and Raul Aguirre and Bobby Washington and Marcellius Pulliam. I hope that none of these guys now have buyer's remorse, with Strong reportedly being out the door, and he was the primary recruiter for all of these guys. I hope that they're still fully locked in and excited about the direction of the program. And I have to bring this up because, you've got a defensive back who just hit the not even hit the transfer portal, a defensive back recruit who wants a release from his national letter of intent. So he obviously I don't know if it's coaching related. I heard it wasn't coaching related for him, but you already have a defensive back who's got buyer's remorse after signing with Miami. Hopefully nothing like that comes up with these linebackers. So I've said it before. I'll say it again. I am a Charlie Strong fan. I'm sorry to see him go. I wish Coach Strong nothing but the best wherever he ends up. Of course, when we found out he wasn't getting the defensive coordinator job and Lance Guidry was, I started to assume there's a pretty good chance Charlie Strong is not going to be with Miami next year. So this is another coach that Miami needs to replace, right? And by the way, let me get ahead of this by bringing this up. If Guidry doesn't end up bringing in someone from outside the program, I think a name to watch for a potential promotion and linebackers coach could be an option here. There's been a lot of buzz from people who've given me good information that if someone gets elevated to an on-the-field role from an analyst role, Jason Taylor could be a guy who gets that sort of an elevation. So keep your eyes out for that. I know DeMarcus Van Dyke is a name we bring up a lot. I feel, based on what I've been able to gather in recent days and recent weeks, that Jason Taylor might be more likely at this point for an on-field promotion from an analyst role than DeMarcus Van Dyke is. So I have to wonder if, and there's another spot open on Miami's coaching staff, if this could open up a spot for Jason Taylor. So keep your eyes on that. If you're watching us on YouTube, smash that thumbs up button, like and subscribe to our channel. If you're listening to us on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Odyssey, wherever you get your pods, make sure to subscribe and leave us a 5-star review. And make sure you check out all the great shows on the Locked On Network, including Locked On College Basketball, where Andy Patton and Isaac Shade, I was about to call him Andy Shade. Andy Patton and Isaac Shade do a great job taking you around the college basketball landscape in under 30 minutes. Make Locked On College Basketball your second listen. Thank you for making us your first. We'll talk to you again next time on another episode of Locked On Canes, part of the awesome Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.